And a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Another Skyline Conference matchup lays ahead for the Hornets as they square off with their county rival, the Mazama Vikings. Glad to be with you. I'm Josh Eldridge. Matt Bowling by my side for this afternoon affair. The Southside Series, the Hornets enter play today on a 15-game winning streak, 12-0 in conference play, looking to seal up a conference title throughout this week. The Vikings looking to scrap a couple of wins together and maybe, just maybe, secure a postseason berth with their 1-9 league record. As we get closer to first pitch, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at those Skyline Conference standings, a look at the rankings as well with Henley, the number one team in the state. We'll also get you the starting lineups and starting pitchers as we continue your pregame coverage from Mazama High School on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Ball is next.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place and then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, the retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Josh Eldridge and Matt Bowling back with you ahead of this Skyline Conference matchup between the Henley Hornets and the Mazama Vikings. Our head coaches meeting at home plate, Joe Tacchini of the Hornets and Mike Edwards of the Vikings, as we take just a quick look at the Skyline Conference standings before we take one last break. Leading the conference, no surprise, the number one team in the state. The Henley Hornets are 12-0 in conference play, 20-1 overall. Hidden Valley, close second to them. They're 10-2. Of course, their only losses coming to the Hornets, 16-5 overall for the Mustangs. Klamath Union, the Cross Point Christian Co-op, they're 3-9 in league play, one game ahead of the Phoenix Pirates, who are 2-8. in Skyline Conference play, and the Pirates find themselves one game ahead of these Vikings, who are 1-9. That final playoff spot in the conference still up for grabs. Well, not necessarily a playoff spot, but a play-in opportunity for one of the three bottom teams in the Skyline Conference. Mazama still an outside shot to grab it, as they've got games today against Henley, 2 more against Phoenix on Saturday, and they close out the season next week against Klamath Union. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we move throughout today's broadcast, but for now, just going to take a quick break. When we come back, the teams will take the field, and we'll get you the starting lineups for the Hornets and the Vikings on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Thread. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Josh Eldridge and Matt Bowling back with you from Mazama High School, getting ready for Skyline Conference baseball between the Henley Hornets and the Mazama Vikings. Let's take a quick moment now to meet the starting lineups for the visiting Henley Hornets. Leading off and in center field is Peyton Price, followed by the catcher Connor Shively batting second. Aiden Hayes, the shortstop, hits third, followed by the cleanup hitter Mark Carpenter, starting at third base today. Bo Pyle is the designated hitter. He is hitting for pitcher Corbin Hamilton today. Max Price bats sixth at second base, followed by the right fielder Lane Frank. Owen Harper bats eighth at first base today for Henley, and Luke Austin rounds out the Henley order starting in left field for the Hornets. On the bump for Mazama today, it's Marcos Ulloa Ford getting his 9th start of the season, his 12th appearance overall. If you look at his decisions, he is 1-3, but a good ERA of about 2.55. That is the best on this Mazama pitching staff by far, a pitching staff that averages an ERA of 8.20. So Marcos looking to work deep into this ball game against Henley, a team which has scored the most runs in the 4A classification and has continued to look good all season. Matt, this is your first time getting a look at this Henley baseball team this season. You've been working softball all year. Excited for some baseball?
Yeah, no doubt about it. We were supposed to be, I was supposed to be at a softball game today. Henley was supposed to come over and play Mazama in both baseball and softball, but Mazama softball actually had to forfeit both of their games this week against Henley due to a lack of players. So making the move to the other diamond. Help you out, Josh.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Getting ready for first pitch. Looks like we're starting a little bit early as Peyton Price takes the first pitch in the dirt. Scheduled first pitch today, 5 o'clock, 4:57 here at Mazama High School. A chilly and windy day, about 47 degrees right now, and we're only getting colder as the day rolls on. Peyton Price fouling that one off, a ball and a strike. Wind today blowing out to the southwest and it'll be just over the right field fence. A bouncing ball down the third base line winds up foul, and a 1-2 count to Peyton Price.
Price hitting .396 on the season, 15 RBI.
Uloa Ford comes set, working mostly from the stretch, it seems, at the beginning of this game. He fires in some high heat that misses. 2-2 to the Henley center fielder. We'll get you the Mazama defense in a moment, but Deshaun Carter, the other half of the Mazama battery, sets up inside. That pitch misses inside, and the count runs full to Price. Price has seen that average dip a bit since starting league play, was hitting over 400 to start the year, but works a walk here. And the Hornets have a leadoff base runner in the top of the first to bring up Connor Shively. I want to talk numbers about a guy like Connor Shively leading the conference in batting average, runs scored, hits. He's doing it all in his sophomore season for the Hornets. The lefty takes ball one. Around the diamond for Mazama, Jacoby Nickerson at third, Max Rogers at short, Jaden Justice at second, and Carson Bate at first. We'll get you the outfield for the Vikes after the 1-0 pitch to Connor Shively. He shows bunt, pulls back. The pitch misses high, and it's a 2-0 count to Shively. In the outfield for the Vikes from left to right, Mason Spivey, Devin Lobdell, and Parker Whiteley in right field for Mazama. Here's the pitch from Uloa Ford again. Shively showing bunt, but pulls back. A 3-0 count to Connor Shively. Pitch from Ford. That one misses. A 4-pitch walk moves a runner to scoring position for Henley. And Aiden Hayes to bat now. Look at Uloa Ford on the season. Walks might be the only thorn in the heel for him this year. I mean, he's got 67 strikeouts, 32 walks. Even though he leads the team in innings pitched, he averages just about 1 walk per inning. So far, he's got 2 in this opening frame. It's going to prompt a visit to the mound from the Mazama pitching coach.
Aiden Hayes is hitting .500 this season with runners in scoring position. This is a good spot for Henley.
Hayes had a 4 RBI day against KU on Saturday. It was the nightcap, or if you could call it that, a noon first pitch over at Kiger Stadium. But Hayes only needed 1 base hit to get all those RBI in, and looked good doing it. That's here. Mark Carpenter on deck. Peyton Price aboard at second. Connor Shively at first. And Uloa Ford comes set with the first pitch to Hayes and delivers. That one's going to miss high and in as well. 1-0. Uloa Ford, the Oregon Tech baseball commit, having trouble finding the strike zone early. The 1-0. That's a line drive to second, gloved by Justice, and they're going to turn 2. The throw back to first is, well, it's going to bring Baith off the bag, but a 4-6 double play brings up Mark Carpenter with 2 outs, and that changes the complexion of this inning.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Henley was looking at a potential bases loaded or RBI situation with nobody out. Now all of a sudden there's 2 down.
Carpenter batting now for Henley. Hit his league-leading 7th home run on Saturday. Pitch to Carpenter. That'll miss high. 1-0 to Mark. The Henley Jr. plays with Marcos on the Klamath Falls Falcons Summer Legion team. Quite a few of these Hornets on that team as well. The pitch from Uloa Ford looked like the off-speed stuff had Carpenter out in front. 1-1. So 2 away and Shively at first after the double play. On deck is Bo Pyle. Pitch from Ford. That one again misses up. 2-1. Ford just having trouble placing that fastball. He's got a couple swings and misses on the off-speed stuff in the first. Checks the runner Shively and delivers. Runner on the move, and now trying to get back to first is Shively. He gets back safely. Connor, he is a threat on the base paths this year for Henley. He is second on the team, in stolen bases at 9 this year. The 2-2 on the way to Carpenter. Ulloa Ford kicks and fires. Shively on the move. The pitch in the dirt. Carter comes up with it easily. Fires on to Bates for the final out. No runs, no hits. One runner left for the Hornets as we go to the bottom half of the first on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Bottom of the first, ending scoreless between the Vikings and the Hornets. Mazama, the home team. Let's get a look at their starting lineup. Leading off in at second base is Jaden Justice. The pitcher, Marcos Ulloa Ford, hits second, followed by Devin Lobdell. The center fielder, Deshaun Carter, bats cleanup for the Vikes. He's catching today. Mason Spivey bats fifth in left field. Jacoby Nickerson is at third base today. He hits sixth, followed by the first baseman, Carson Bate. Parker Whiteley is in right field today, hitting eighth, and Max Rogers, the freshman, at shortstop, rounds out the order for the Vikings. They're going up against the freshman on the hill for Henley, Corbin Hamilton, this year. He's third on the team in innings pitched, 26 on the year. This will be his sixth start, 8 appearance overall, still without a loss on the mound this year. He is 4-0 in his decisions and an ERA for a freshman. This is remarkable, 1.07. But as a team, Henley has one of the best pitching staffs in the state, 1.59 as a staff this year, and Corbin has been a big part of that. Leading off for the Vikings will be Jaden Justice. Hamilton, he likes to work quick on the mound, generally out of an abbreviated stretch. The first pitch from him is going to be in the dirt, 1-0. Hamilton goes with the traditional fastball, has more of a sliding curveball. It's hardly considered a slider, though, and the good changeup, the circle change motion from Hamilton. Weak bouncer out towards third. Carpenter's charging it, but he bobbles it, and a runner aboard at first is Justice on the E5. That'll bring up Marcos Ulloa Ford for Mazama with a runner aboard at first. Still nobody out in the bottom of the first. Ford this year batting .447. Best hitter according to average, and Mazama by a long shot. In fact, the Vikings only have 3 guys who are hitting above 200 this year, and it's the next 3 guys due up in the order: Ford, Lobdell, and Carter. An 0-1 count to Ulloa Ford. Hamilton delivers, a high strike call, 0-2. The count to the Mazama pitcher. Hamilton set and delivers the 0-2. Looked at for ball 1, missed outside there, 1-2. Mentioned the rest of the team for Mazama as a squad, batting .173 on the year. It's a 1-2 pitch, hit on a line into left field. That'll get down in front of Austin for a base hit. And Marcos Ulloa Ford, with the first single of the ball game for either team, moves Justice up to second and brings up Devin Lobdell. Go around the diamond for you for Henley. Connor Shively behind the dish for him. Mark Carpenter at third. Aiden Hayes at short. Max Price plays second and Owen Harper at first. In the outfield for Henley, Luke Austin in left, Peyton Price in center, and Lane Frank in right. Here's Devin Lobdell with runners on first and second and nobody away. First pitch swinging, lifts one down the right field line. Playable for Frank in foul territory, but lets that one drop down. It's just a long strike 1 to Lobdell.
Well, this is the exact same situation we saw in the top of the first. It was Henley who had 2 on and nobody out. Mazama ended up turning a double play, helped him get out of it.
Henley middle infield is at double play depth. Pitch is called a strike to Lobdell. Carpenter was playing in on the grass, and Harper holding the runner at first. Hayes and Price cheating a bit towards second. It's an 0-2 count. And the pitch from Hamilton is lifted weakly to shortstop. Hayes underneath it makes the catch for the first out. Now Deshaun Carter to bat for Mazama. Carter, another one of those guys I mentioned who's part of the Klamath Falls Falcons squad. That head coach, Pete Whistler, in the dugout for Henley today as an assistant coach, helping out the infielders and always throwing BP, old Pete Whistler. Deshaun Carter steps in with Justice at second, Uloa Ford at first, and 1 away in the bottom of the first. Pitch is taken for strike 1. Mason Spivey on deck for Mazama. Shively delivers the sign to Hamilton. Hamilton delivers. This is a ground ball to third. Carpenter boots it. Played by Hayes off the hop. The throw to first is wild. And this could score Justice, and it will. They're going to call dead ball, and I think that runners might get one more base. Let's see. No, I think they're going to leave everybody where they are. So Justice scored on the play, making it 1-0 Vikings. So they take their first lead of the series. It moved Uloa Ford to third, and Deshaun Carter reached on the error and advanced to second when the ball went out of play. This brings up Mason Spivey. Spivey, slow roller down the first base side. Owen Harper up with it, going to take it to the bag himself, but Uloa Ford scores as well, making it 2-0 Vikes. 2 away now for Jacoby Nickerson. Mazama doing what they have to do here in the bottom of the first to manufacture a couple of runs. They've relied on 2 Henley errors so far, and this brings up Nickerson. Batting 109 this year, the lefty will take ball 1. Hamilton delivers. That pitch in the dirt, 2-0. Third, it's Carter. He got aboard on the error a few moments ago. The 2-0 home. Ground ball towards first. Harper charging it. He's going to take it to the bag himself once more and end the inning. But the Vikings score 2 runs on only 1 base hit. They leave 1 stranded. They lead 2-0 as we head to the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab Tires.
Top of the second inning, and Mazama leads Henley 2-0. Due up this inning for Henley as they try to respond. Bo Pyle, Max Price, and Lane Frank. That's 5, 6, 7 in the Henley order. Marcos Uloa Ford, of course, into his second inning of work. I'm sure he's in a pretty unfamiliar predicament pitching with the lead this season. He's done well on the mound, but I can't imagine too many times he's had the lead heading into the second inning, so see how he handles this spot as Bo Pyle steps into the box.
Yeah, a couple Henley errors there in the first inning helped push those 2 runs across from Mazama, and that's really not something we're used to seeing from the Hornets. They came into this game having only committed 28 errors through their first 22 games this season. 21, sorry.
But that's even more remarkable. I mean, that's averaging just about 1 error per game, so even then, their offense can certainly put runs on the board to try and respond. This is a ground ball towards short. Rogers up with it. The throw across the diamond brings the first baseman Baith off the bag. And I think he tried to apply the tag but missed. So let's see. It was a close play at first. Probably give Bo Pyle the infield single on that one. And he is aboard with nobody out and Max Price to hit now for the Hornets. Price lays down a bunt to third. Nickerson up with it, but bobbles it. The throw will be late. Pyle to second. Price on first. And now Lane Frank bats. He's been in and out of the starting lineup the last couple of games for Henley. Looking to rotate in guys like Hamilton, who's the pitcher today in the outfield, and Shiv Patel as well. But Frank back in the lineup today, batting .317. He shows bunt, comes up empty, 0-1. This is another thing Henley likes to do, play a bit of small ball. It's what helped him score a handful of runs against Klamath Union's ace P.J. Safford on Saturday. Frank behind in the count, 0-1. Showing bunt, pulls back. Oh, no, he doesn't. 0-2, the count to Frank. On deck for Henley is Owen Harper. And Frank will take strike 3 and 1 away here in the top of the second. Second strikeout of the day for Ford. And Harper steps in now. Owen Harper has been an interesting guy to watch this season. Came into league play batting just .087, but in the previous 12 Henley ball games, he's scooted that average up to .208, including a couple of base hits on Saturday. 0-1 the count to Harper. He fists one foul. The count now 0-2 to the Henley first baseman.
7 RBI on the season for Harper. Got one in scoring position right now.
Hits one foul, count remains 0-2. Biggest hill for Harper to get over this season has been the strikeout. He leads the team in strikeouts at 15 on the season. And that one almost comes in and hit him. He scooted out of the way, but strike 3 called. That's that brutal slider you look at from Uloa Ford. Starts in on the hands and just breaks right out back across the plate. Down goes Harper, and it brings up Luke Austin. 2 away, and Pyle still at second. Price at first after a couple of leadoff singles. Now Henley back up against the wall with Luke Austin. He takes ball 1. That one is flared foul over our head here in the grandstand at Viking Field. We're pretty much set up at the football complex. Our vantage point looks pretty much exactly north. And that pitch is going to miss wide. Count now 2-1. Look around the outfield here at the newly used Mazama baseball complex. 320 down either line. 350 to left and right center, 380 to dead center field. It's a 3-1 count at the plate to Luke Austin. Top of the order due up next for Henley. The pitch. That one will miss high. Load up the bases for Peyton Price.
Big chance for Henley here. You got the top of the order coming up. Bases loaded, 2 out, down 2 in the top of the second.
Price without an official at-bat today. He walked in the first inning. It's going to prompt Deshaun Carter to come out, have a chat with Uloa Ford. Just tell him to calm down. You got 2 outs. Focus on the guy at the plate. That's all he can do. Third baseman for Mazama Nickerson playing kind of in on the grass. Everybody else straight up with 2 away and the bases loaded in the second. First pitch to Price is going to be taken outside, 1-0.
Price hitting .435 with runners in scoring position. Third on the team with 6 2-out RBI.
Takes ball 2 on the outside. Uloa Ford comes set and delivers. That pitch taken for a ball as well. 3 misses to the outside. The right-handed hitting Price. Connor Shively on deck, and a walk scores a run here for Henley. Uloa Ford set with the 3-0, kicks and fires. That one will miss in the dirt, and Henley will score their first run of the ball game on a free pass. Scores Pyle. Price advances to third, Austin to second, and Peyton Price now aboard at first. Back-to-back walks for Uloa Ford bring up Connor Shively. Shively also walked in his first plate appearance, but takes strike 1 here. That was, by the way, the 4th walk issued by Uloa Ford in this game. Here's the pitch to Shively. That'll be taken for strike 2. A couple of pitches seemingly right down the middle to the best hitter in the league. Oh, pardon me, the count 1-1. That one will miss low, 2-1.
Shively hitting .556 with runners in scoring position. Definitely the guy you want up here.
Shively wraps one down the third base line, and that will wind up foul. Count a ball and 2 strikes to the Henley sophomore catcher. Shively takes a pitch high, 2-2. Shively, a left-handed hitter, but predominantly an opposite field hitter as well. Likes to go out to left field. Only has a few base knocks this season to the right side. And calls time at the plate. Back in the box, ready to go. Shively awaits the 2-2, offers up at it and misses. And that will retire the side. Uloa Ford dances out of a jam here in the second. The Hornets leave the bases loaded. They do score 1, but they trail 2-1 heading to the bottom of the second on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Bottom of the second inning, and Mazama leads Henley 2-1. It's the bottom of the Viking order due up here in the second. Carson Bates, Parker Whiteley, and Max Rogers, 7, 8, 9. Henley looks to try to make quick work of him. Hamilton trying to get the bats back up. Henley left the bases loaded in the top half of this inning after scoring 1 run to try to respond. Mazama scored 2 on a couple of Henley errors back in the first.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys are hitting sub 100 this season. Hamilton going to be looking for some quick work here after not great first inning. Not his fault, though.
Right, those errors were easy ground outs, but sometimes that's just how the ball rolls. Ball 1 called inside to Carson Bates this season. You mentioned batting .062. The pitch called a strike, 1-1. The delivery from Hamilton is going to come in and hit Baith. And he is aboard at first, nobody out. And that brings up Parker Whiteley. Whiteley, a guy who has as many walks as he does base hits on the season. That number is 3. Whiteley takes ball 1 high, 1-0. Pretty good set of fans here behind home plate, checking out the new Mazama ball field. This is their first year having used this complex in about 5 seasons. As Whiteley fouls one off, they had been using Kiger Stadium as their home ball field for all those years, and reason being, the Mazama football team would often tear up the outfield during their football practices. They wanted to practice out here when the football complex was just grass. Since they got it turfed, they practice out there now, and it's allowed the Mazama coaching staff to revitalize this baseball field. And the pitch misses in. 2-1, the count to Parker Whiteley. And that'll be called a strike, an elevated fastball. Whiteley looked at, evens up the count at 2. Nobody out and Baith at first for the Vikings. Bottom of the second inning, Mazama up 2-1. Whiteley fouls one off, stays alive in the at-bat. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Mazama junior.
Right into lane 6 on the track.
That track's gotten a lot of use recently. They just hosted a second track meet in as many weeks as Whiteley pops one out to Carpenter to record the first out. So 1 away and a runner at first for Max Rogers. The freshman for Mazama has played in every game this season for the Vikes and has gotten a chance to pitch as well. I will say Rogers threw fairly well when the Vikings were over at Rosser Field, but today getting the start at shortstop. It's a 1-0 count, and that pitch will find the zone. 1-1 to Rogers. Jaden Justice on deck. That's the top of the Viking order. Hamilton set with the 1-1 and delivers, fouled off. 1-2, the count to the right-handed hitting Rogers. Mazama today in their home blue uniforms. Mazama written across their chest in white and blue caps. Henley in their navy blue road uniforms, but they've got the white pants on today. The 1-2 is swung on and missed. A throw down to first to try to backdoor Baith, but he's back safely, so we'll just call that a strikeout and 2 away in the bottom of the second for Jaden Justice. Justice reached on an error and scored in the first inning. It was a ground ball to third that Carpenter booted. We'll see what he does now with 2 away in the second. Here's the pitch. He's going to look at strike 1. Justice this year batting $116. Looks at ball 1 low.
He has drawn 19 walks, though. That's leads the team, and 8 more than his next closest teammates.
Putting together good at-bats, always nice at the top of the order. Takes a look at strike 2. Looked like it might have been a bit outside for Justice's liking, but now has to adjust his approach in a 2-strike count. Hamilton comes set, Shively set up outside. That pitch looked at low for ball 2. Decent lead off of first by Baith, but Hamilton not worried. Delivers the 2-2, swung on and missed, and that will end the inning. The Vikings leave one stranded. No base hits in the inning, and they lead 2-1 as we head to the third on 104.3 and 960 Sport.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
Top of the third inning, and Henley trails Mazama 2-1. Their first of two meetings this week. It'll be the middle of the Henley order. 3, 4, 5 due up. That's Hayes, Carpenter, and Pyle. First pitch to Hayes from Uloa Ford. Ground ball to second. Trying to backhand it is Justice, but it winds up in center field. Hayes takes a big turn around first, but he'll stay there. Looked playable there for Justice, so we'll say Hayes reached on the error there. And a runner at first for Mark Carpenter. Kind of guy you like to see hitting with some guys on base. He did strike out his first time. Carpenter shows bunt. This one is in the dirt past Carter. Taken off for second is Hayes. And he'll wind up at second after the pass ball. Now in scoring position for the league leader in RBI. Deshaun Carter delivers the sign to Uloa Ford, kicks and fires and pulls the string on Carpenter, swung right through it, a ball and a strike. Carpenter was caught swinging on the slider in the dirt in the first inning. Comes up empty on the off-speed pitch there. It's 1-1. Pitch from Ford is in the dirt, blocked by Carter. So Hayes is going to stay put. It's a 2-1 count to the Henley cleanup hitter. Carpenter again swings through that one. And a 2-2 count. Short, Rogers trying to keep Hayes honest at second. A big secondary lead and called strike three. Hayes swipes third. The throw down is in left. Hayes is going to score on the error, and Henley ties things at 2 in the top of the third.
Hayes is quick. Not sure he would have beaten the throw there if it had been on target. But he made quick work getting to home from third after that error.
Henley often good around the base paths. Heads up. Don't see too many errors from the Hornets out there. They don't tend to leave too many mistakes on the field, at least in terms of base running. It's a 1-1 count to Bo Pyle, who singled in the second. This time sent a drive to left field. On the run, the catch from Spivey in left to put down Pyle and bring up Max Price. Price singled in his first at-bat in the second inning, was left stranded at third when the Hornets left the bases loaded. Uloa Ford kicks and delivers, and the pitch fouled off to Price. Max this year batting .305 in the 6th hole for Henley. The pitch. Ooh, curveball, or the slider there from Uloa Ford finds the zone. Pyle takes one wide, 2-2. That one will miss as well, 3-2. And I suppose that's ball 3. Now the count runs full with 2 away in the inning and nobody on base for Max Price. This is a line drive into right field. That's going to get down. Whiteley misplays it. A big turnaround first. Headed for second is Price, and he will get in there with a single plus the air there at second. Frank takes a pitch high. 1-0. Frank lines one into right field. That could be trouble. That'll get down for extra bases. That'll score Price. Frank rounding second, headed for third. The throw will, well, it'll stop him from advancing all the way to third. He got about halfway there and decided to turn around, but an RBI double for Frank gives the Hornets a 3-2 lead.
Well, I couldn't see what was happening in right field, but judging by when that ball came in, it looks like he could have made it to third if he'd kept going.
I think he could have too, but the throw in stopped him. Don't want to be the final out at third base. That could be what stopped him. This brings up Owen Harper. Frank on the move after the pass ball. He'll wind up at third, now just 90 feet away. And a 2-0 count to Owen Harper.
Could have been Frank's second triple of the season, but he's there now anyway, so all's well that ends well if you're Henley.
It's a 3-0 count to Harper. On deck is Luke Austin. And Ford misses on 4 straight pitches, gives the free pass to Harper. Runners now at the corners for Luke Austin. 5th Uloa Ford walk surrendered today. And Luke Austin was one of them back in the second inning. Move over to first. Back safely is Harper. Frank's still at third, so got to be careful making those moves, especially with 2 outs for Ford. Pitch to Austin, fouled off. It'll wind up back at the track as well. An 0-1 count to Luke Austin.
Austin's number's a bit lower in these types of situations compared to his teammates. He's hitting .294 with runners in scoring position. He's got 2 two-out RBI this season.
Austin takes a pitch in the dirt, evens the count at 1. 2 away in the top of the third, already 2 runs home for the Hornets, and Frank at third, Harper at first. And a 1-1 count at the plate to Austin. Uloa Ford comes set and delivers. That pitch also in the dirt, but Carter keeps it in front of him. Taken off for second on the pitch in the dirt was Harper. So now 2 runners in scoring position and a 2-1 count to Luke Austin. On deck, Peyton Price. Austin takes another pitch in the dirt. Now moves to 3-1. Ford set. Delivers the 3-1. A line drive. That's going to find a gap in right center. Scoring from third is Frank. Harper will score. And Luke Austin is going to go for 3. And he will get in there sliding. A bases clearing triple gives Henley a 4-2 lead.
How about that, Luke Austin? Well, one stat I didn't mention, he was second on the team with 10 extra base hits. Make that 11.
My apologies there. Score now 5-2. Henley in top of the order due up. It's Peyton Price who runs into one. Same spot on the field. Right center field gap and an RBI. See how Mazama can get to this one. Peyton Price digging for 3. He'll get in there standing. Go ahead and trade places out there, why don't you, gentlemen? 6-2 Henley.
Back-to-back triples for the Hornets. The Bats have woken up.
Now you bring up the best hitter in the league, Connor Shively. He is 0 for 1 today. He walked in the first, struck out in the second. And sends a ground ball towards second, winds up in center field. And an RBI single for Shively pushes the Hornets' lead to 5. And now Henley has batted around in this inning, bringing up Aiden Hayes, who started the party by reaching on an error and scoring earlier this inning. And this will prompt a visit from Coach Mike Edwards for Mazama. Perfect time for us to remind you that picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. All right, it looks like we're going to see a pitching change for the Vikings here in the third. We'll step aside and get the changes for you when we come back. This is Henley Baseball. They lead the Vikings 7-2 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
All I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever. Wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face. I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Well, we are going to see the freshman Max Rogers on the mound for Mazama as he relieves Marcos Ulloa Ford in the top of the third inning, a game that Henley leads 7-2. Look at the numbers for Rogers on the season. He is 13 innings pitched and an ERA of 8.61, although he has seen Henley this season. It was his longest outing when he worked 3 innings, and he only allowed 2 runs to come across against a potent Henley offense, allowing just 2 hits in that time and striking out 4. That was back on April 13th. See how he works here with his first task being Aiden Hayes. And there are 2 outs in the top of the third. Shively aboard at first, and he's going to take off on the first pitch. The throw down is in time, tag applied, and they got Shively trying to swipe second, and that will end the inning. But the Hornets, they score 6 on 4 base hits in the inning, and they lead 7-2. We go to the bottom of the third on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Bottom of the third inning, and Henley leads Mazama 7-2. The Vikings will try to answer with 2, 3, 4 in their order. That's Marcos Ulloa Ford, Devin Lobdell, and Deshaun Carter. It was 5 runs in the top half of this inning for Henley. But these are the guys you want up for Mazama, the 3 guys leading your team in average.
6 runs, actually. 5 of them with 2 out.
There you go.
Really incredible stretch. Henley had nobody on with 2 outs, score tied at 2. Hornets got 5 hits in their next 6 plate appearances. The other one was a walk. 2 doubles and 2 well, 1 double and 2 triples among them. It's a lot. This reminds me a lot of the Henley softball team, and fittingly, they're both ranked number 1 in the state and the best team in the Skyline Conference by a pretty wide margin.
Eloa Ford lifts one in the infield. Mark Carpenter puts that one away for the first out.
The thing that both of those teams have in common is when they get rolling, you really can't stop them.
Yeah, these Henley teams won't really nickel and dime you for 1 run here, 2 runs there. They will explode for 5 or 6 runs in an inning and then kind of coast from there. At least that's what the baseball team has done for most of the season. 0-1 the count to Devin Lobdell after he fouls off the first pitch he sees. He's 0 for 1 today. Popped out to shortstop in the first inning. Delivery will miss there from Hamilton. A ball and a strike, 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. And again, Deshaun Carter waits on deck for Mazama. Here's the pitch. That is in the dirt, but swung on and missed by Lobdell. Offering up at the pitch well out of the zone. Falls behind at the count now, 1-2. This one is popped up, playable in the infield. Shively going to dump the helmet and play it in front of home plate, off his glove, and safe at first is Lobdell. And with the wind blowing like it is, that's a tough play to make for a catcher. And just couldn't do it that time for Shively. Lobdell aboard at first.
Yeah, that was one that went straight up, hung in the air for a while, and then came back down. Like you said, Josh, with the wind, those can be difficult to track.
Aboard at first is Lobdell. Deshaun Carter offers up at the first pitch. A line drive will end up foul down the left field line. 0-1, the count to the Mazama catcher, who reached on an error in the first and knocked in a run in doing so. Hamilton into his 3rd inning of work as the Henley starter. The pitch will miss outside, 1-1, the count to Carter. On deck is Mason Spivey. Decent lead off of first by Lobdell. And the pitch home will miss high, 2-1 to Carter. Carter batting .224 this year with 3 extra base hits. The 2-1. Carter, ground ball towards third, foul. That'll even up the count at 2 apiece here in the bottom of the 3rd. Henley leads 7-2. Carter fists one behind short. Hayes giving chase, but that'll get down in front of Austin. And a 1-out base hit for Carter brings up Mason Spivey. Advancing Lobdell to second. We'll leave the bases loaded here in the 3rd. They still trail 7-2 as we head to the 4th on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
This was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon, soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Getting ready for the top of the fourth inning between the Hornets and the Vikings. So far in the ballgame, 7 runs on 7 hits. 2 errors for Henley. They have left 5 runners on base. For Mazama in the ballgame, 2 runs on 1 hit, 2 errors, and they have also left 5 runners on base. So you can surmise Henley up 7-2 here in the top of the fourth inning. Josh Eldridge and Matt Bowling with you as Aiden Hayes set to lead things off. Hayes in the ball game so far, grounded out in the first, reached on an error and scored in the third. And Rogers will offer up a swing and a miss to Hayes. Like to see Rogers, a freshman, get good work here on the mound and just build some confidence. Again, he pitched well against Henley last time he went up against this squad. Now ahead in the count 0-2 to Aiden Hayes. Hayes, a .429 hitter, and tied for his team lead in doubles. The 0-2, Rogers out of the windup in the pitch. Looked at for ball 1. Must have missed outside. A 1-2 count to the Henley shortstop.
Hayes also led off the top of the third inning. Reached on an error at second base.
The delivery from Rogers looked at for strike 3. Looked like it was the curveball that got Hayes looking for the first out in the fourth. And this will bring up Mark Carpenter, an uncharacteristic start to the afternoon for Mark. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
First one was swinging, second one was looking.
It's an 0-1 count to Carpenter. Looks at that one wide. A ball and a strike to Mark. Henley scored 1 run in the second and added 6 more in the third when they batted around. Carpenter with the 1-1. Watches that one sail high. 2-1 now to Carpenter. On deck is Bo Pyle. It's 3-4-5 in the Henley order to lead things off in the fourth and already 1 down. Rogers kicks and fires with the 2-1. Carpenter offers up at it but fouls it straight back. Evens the count at 2. Rogers gathers the sign in from Carter. Might be going off speed here. The 2-2 is a curveball that's grounded towards short. Uloa Ford charging up with it, fires onto first in time for the second out.
Decent contact there by Carpenter, but just hit it right to second. Sometimes it's just not quite your day.
Bo Pyle steps in now for Henley. He is 1 for 2 today. Singled and scored a run in the second and flew out in the third. Steps in now against Rogers. Here's the first pitch. That one will miss high. The breaking pitch not breaking enough on that one. 1-0. Corner infielder Nickerson at third, playing in on the grass, and that pitch will miss wide. 2-0. Outfield for Mazama shaded a little bit towards the left side. Pyle primarily a pull hitter, but not necessarily a power pull hitter. 1 home run on the year, but just kind of good for the base knock here and there for Pyle. He's ahead in the count 3-0 and batting .333 on the season. 9 of his 16 hits have been singles. Rogers decides on the 3-0 and delivers. That one will miss in the dirt, and a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs puts Pyle on first. And that'll bring up Max Price. Well, as we've moved into this the fourth inning, you can close the book on Ulloa Ford. 7 runs have come across on him, and I believe only 5 of them earned. Gave up 7 hits, and he struck out 4.
Max Price was the one who got the hit parade started for Henley back in the 3rd inning. Singled to right field, then advanced to second on an error. Was doubled in by Lane Frank.
That one's going to miss, 3-0. Lane Frank waits on deck. Here's the pitch from Rogers. That one will also miss. 8 straight balls and a couple of base runners for Henley in the 4th. And again, this brings up Lane Frank, with Pyle moving to second and Price now aboard for the 3rd time today.
As I said, he had an RBI double in the last inning, and he'll have a chance at another one here. Also with 2 outs.
Along with that double from Frank last inning, he also struck out. This time sends a line drive down the third base line that winds up foul. Frank behind now, 0-2. After Frank, it's Owen Harper looking for an opportunity with 2 outs in the 4th. Rogers delivers. This is a line drive into left by Frank. They're going to wave Pyle around to score. The throw in from left is in time, but the tag not applied. The ball falls out of Carter's glove as he tried to swipe down to tag out Pyle, but he scores and Henley leads 8-2. Also on the throw, going to see Price advance to 3rd and Frank move up to 2nd.
So in a way, he did it again.
I would agree. A good clutch base hit there. A couple of RBIs for Frank. Having himself an afternoon. His team now up by 6. This brings up Owen Harper, who's walked and struck out in 2 plate appearances so far. 2 runners in scoring position for him and 2 outs. First pitch called a ball inside. 1-1 to Harper. Owen again towards the bottom and the team in batting. But since league play has started, he's improved quite a bit. Right now batting .208 on the season. And 10 of his 11 base hits have come since the Hornets started conference play. Harper takes a ball wide, now ahead in the count 3-0. Luke Austin on deck for Henley. And first base is open, although that would load him. 3-0 the count, and the delivery from Rogers. That one will find the zone, paints the outside, 3-1. Rogers set from the stretch and delivers. Harper takes ball 4 outside, and that will load him up for Luke Austin.
So again, we see the same result from the 2nd inning.
Yeah, 2 quick outs to start this one, then a walk, a base hit to score 1, and another walk. Have loaded up the bases for Luke Austin, who tripled in the 3rd and scored 2 runs in doing so. Austin watches the first pitch miss in the dirt, kicks away from Carter, but Price is going to stay put at 3rd. Didn't get too far away from him, so it's just a 1-0 count. Rogers looks down the runner at 3rd and delivers. That pitch will miss high, 2-0. The count to Luke Austin. On deck, the top of the Henley order, is Peyton Price. That's strike one called. Looked to be right down Main Street for Austin, but he can afford to look for a pitch that he wants with how Rogers has been avoiding most of the middle of the zone and missing up, down, left, and right. Austin can wait to see a pitch he wants to drive and does so into center field, and that one will get past the center fielder Lobdell and roll to the wall. That's going to score Frank. They're going to wave Harper around, and how about two triples for Luke Austin, and that one clears the bases and scores 3 runs in the process. Henley up 11-2.
That does it, Josh. I'm calling Bill Murray. What kind of time loop are we stuck in here? I mean, it's the exact same as the third inning. RBI double, walk, bases clearing triple.
Let's see if Peyton Price can keep the party going with a triple of his own. That's what he did in the third and drove in a run. 2 outs, and Henley up 9. Here's the pitch. Pitch high, 1-0. I like having you along for the movie references because it's not something that I would think of myself. Price waves and misses at strike 1, evens the count. Connor Shively waits on deck. Here's the 1-1 from Rogers, and that pitch misses in the dirt, 2-1. Four runs home this inning for Henley. And the 2-1 is hit in the air, left field, playable for Spivey. And they will make the catch in left to end the inning. But again, Henley, they score 4 runs on 3 hits. They leave 1 stranded. They lead 11-2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab Tires.
As they try to climb back into this ball game, Henley leads 11-2 after plating 6 in the third and 4 more in the fourth. It'll still be Corbin Hamilton on the bump for Henley. He started this ball game and has looked good. Both of his runs that came across in the first unearned, and since then has been dealing, although he did leave the bases loaded in the third. And faces Parker Whiteley, who is 0 for 1 today with a pop out to third base back in the second inning. First of 2 meetings between these two squads this week. They'll be back here on Thursday. We'll, of course, have coverage of that one for you right here on this station. 104.3 and 960 or mybasin.com. Also, just getting started up at Oregon Tech is the community forum that's being broadcast on mybasin.com. The 1-0 is swung at and missed. 1-1 to Whiteley for Klamath County Commissioner position number 3. If you'd like to learn a thing or two about that or watch it later on, it's on mybasin.com. 1-1 misses high, 2-1. And here's the pitch to Whiteley. That one will miss in, 3-1. At this point for Corbin, I know 2 unearned runs came across in the first, but just got to trust your defense to make some plays, throw some strikes up big. This is a line drive to short, gloved by Hayes for the first out. Good contact made by Whiteley, but just right to the Henley shortstop. Max Rogers bats now for Mazama, 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the second inning. One of 2 strikeout casualties in the game for the Vikings. Rogers started the game at short, now pitching, looking to help out his own cause. He will take strike 1. The 0-1, a check swing, but called a strike anyway. Was in the zone. 0-2, the count to Rogers. On deck, Jaden Justice, top of the Mazama order. Hamilton steps, kicks, and fires the 0-2. Ground ball towards third. Carpenter up with it, fires across the diamond in time for the second out. And now Jaden Justice bats with 2 away in the bottom of the 4th inning. Henley leads the Vikings 11-2. So far for Justice today, he reached on an error and scored in the first and struck out in the second. And the pitch from Hamilton is popped foul, 0-1.
I think that one hit lane 1 on the track.
That's a pretty far distance for that one to go out by the new track and turf field at Viking Field. That's where we are, broadcasting to you from the grandstands in the shade. The 0-1 is taken for strike 2.
Yeah, we got about 6 people up here near us too. The view is kind of reminiscent of, you know, those elevated first baseline seats at bigger stadiums. So, not bad spot.
Good spot. See Jaden Justice go down swinging on that one. The Vikings go down in order. We head to the 5th. Henley up 11-2. Henley baseball, 104.3 and 960 Sports.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends. How to fit in. How to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Top of the 5th inning, and Henley leads Mazama 11-2. Due up this half for the Hornets. Connor Shively, Aiden Hayes, and Mark Carpenter, 2-3-4 in the Henley order. And some of those dangerous bats in the lead. So far for Connor Shively, a walk, a strikeout, and a base hit in the 3rd, although he was thrown out trying to steal in that 3rd inning. He did knock in a run, and Henley scored 6 in total that inning. It'll be Max Rogers' 3rd inning of work out of the bullpen.
Henley needs 1 run to get to the run rule threshold. They've scored 10 in the past 2 innings. So we'll see if they can keep it going, get out of here early.
Shively, first pitch swinging, airs one out foul behind third base, 0-1. Talk about the run rule. Henley has run ruled in 4 of their last 5 games, and even the one where it went the full 7 is a 16-1 victory over Klamath Union on Saturday, and Henley waited until the final 7th inning to score 7 runs and put that one finally out of reach. A 1-1 count to Connor Shively, and the delivery from Rogers. That one misses high, 2-1.
Been a similar situation for the softball team too. They've only played one 7-inning game in Skyline Conference play. They've also had several games that have gone to 3-inning run rule.
The 2-1 count to Shively is a line drive into right field, and that one is fair. Shively taking a big turnaround first, digging for 2, and he might go for 3 as the ball is bobbled in right. Shively winding up at third, a leadoff triple in the 5th.
Yeah, nobody covering second. I think the second baseman went to help out in the outfield, so might as well try to stretch for 3 as they're going to have to make the throw the whole distance. No cutoff man.
Aiden Hayes bats now with the Mercy Rule run standing at third. Henley is the visiting team today, so Mazama will have a chance to potentially answer in the bottom half. And obviously still that run has to score. Hayes at the plate. He will take ball 1. 1-0. Hayes today has grounded out, reached on an error, and struck out in 3 at-bats so far today. The time he did reach base, he came around to score. It's a 1-0 count to Hayes, and fouls one off. 1-1. The count to the Henley shortstop.
Couldn't see where that one went.
It's a 1-1 count to Hayes. Rogers set. Steps off, though. Looking to get on the same page with Carter. And now he's set again, delivers. That one looked to be the breaking ball, missed high. 2-1 to Hayes. Mark Carpenter on deck. Rogers delivers. Bouncing ball over the head of the third baseman Nickerson into left field. That will score Shively. And an RBI single for Hayes, his first base hit of the contest, puts Henley up by 10. They lead 12-2. And now Mark Carpenter, been held hitless in the ball game so far. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out on the ledger today for the Henley junior. Rogers going to take a look at Hayes at first. A fairly sizable lead over there at first. Hayes a big secondary lead as Carpenter takes ball 1 outside. Corner in, Nickerson at third, and middle infield at double play depth for Mazama as the 1-0 pitch misses high. Trying to turn 2 with Carpenter coming out of the right-handed batter's box. Not a ton of wheels for Mark, but typically doesn't have to show him off with how far he hits the ball. The 2-0 count to Mark in the pitch. That one is popped. Maybe playable behind first base. And, that will actually bounce off the metal roof of the grandstand. 2-1.
Hey, you might have heard the bang in our headsets. That was...
Well, I'd take that over getting hit in the head with the baseball.
Oh, no question.
I didn't bring my glove to the ballpark today, Matt. 2-1 the count to Carpenter.
We've actually had... just got back to first in time. We've actually had a couple foul balls come over at Henley that sort of rolled our way.
Right, set up in center field.
Yeah, for softball games when those games are going on at the same time.
Carpenter will work a 5-pitch walk and get on base to move Hayes to second. And Bo Pyle to bat now. Pyle today has got a base hit. He's walked and flown out so far. Each time he's got on base, he has come around to score. Now bats with one runner in scoring position. It's Hayes and Carpenter at first. Rogers set with the first pitch to Pyle. Here it is. That'll be a line drive down the left field line and fair. Rounding third, headed for home is Hayes. And Carpenter will stroll into third. Advancing to second is Pyle on the throw. And Henley now leads 13-2. It'll be 2 runners in scoring position for Max Price. And this will bring Mike Edwards out of the Mazama dugout. He will take the ball from Max Rogers, and it looks like we'll get a look at Devin Lobdell, but see if we've got any other defensive changes for the Vikings on the other side. Henley leads 13-2 in the top of the 5th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Live video today on my.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
New pitcher in for the Mazama Vikings as they trail Henley 13-2 in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Devin Lobdell coming in to pitch for the Vikes. This is his 10th appearance on the season. He's thrown 18 innings. His record reflects 1 win and 3 losses, a 6.61 ERA on the season for Devin. He'll inherit a less than ideal situation with Mark Carpenter standing at third and Bo Pyle at second. Already 2 runs home in this inning for Henley, and they lead by 11. Now you get into the bottom of the order, which has been very productive for Henley today. Max Price has reached base, whether by a single or a walk in all 3 at-bats. Lane Frank has got 2 RBIs and a 2-for-3 afternoon. He's going to have to get through what has been the teeth today of the Henley order, and nobody out in the inning. Again, Price to lead things off against Lobdell. Max Rogers, by the way, exited the game as a pitcher and will re-enter in center field. We'll reset the Mazama defense for you in a moment after the switches that we saw after strike 1 is called against Price. Behind the dish still is Deshaun Carter, Jacoby Nickerson at third, Marcos Ulloa Ford at short, Jaden Justice at second, and Carson Bate at first, as that pitch will miss 1-1. In the outfield for Mazama, Mason Spivey in left, Max Rogers in center, and Parker Whiteley in right field. The 1-1 is weakly grounded towards second. Charging is Justice. The throw on to first is in time. And hitting the deck over here was Price, or pardon me, that was Carson Sims actually batting for him. We're starting to see some guys check in for Henley. Weren't in the starting lineup, so that'll be Sims recording the first out, but it looked like an RBI as well, as coming in to score from third was Carpenter. The score now 14-2. Advancing to third on the ground out was Pyle. And this brings up Ian Myers. He'll be batting for Lane Frank here in the 7th. Myers has been a fun guy to watch this season for Henley. Doesn't always get a ton of playing time, the sophomore, but boy, when he has an opportunity, he's come up for his team this season. He's batting .556 with 6 RBI and only 9 at-bats. Pitch there is going to be taken for a strike. 2-1, the count to Ian Meyer.
Bench depth is so essential to competing at the top of your classification. See the same thing with Henley softball. Matter of fact, at Klamath Union, in their doubleheader on Saturday, saw Hayden Higgins, a sophomore who normally comes off the bench, get into the lineup, hit a home run.
That's always exciting. The team gets off the bench and all excited when that happens. Always a lot of fun. In the meantime, a full count and a passed ball scored Bo Pyle. Henley leads now 15-2. It seems our scoreboard operator might have called it quits a few runs ago, as the score here still reflects 13-2 and a walk delivered to Ian Meyer.
Good thing we have Game Changer.
All right, aboarded first with one out was Ian Meyer, and this will bring up Thomas Bakke hitting for Owen Harper. Bakke grounds one to third, past the diving glove of Nickerson into left field. Meyer will advance to second, and Bakke aboard with a base hit. And this will bring up Ryan Douglas, batting for Luke Austin here in the fifth. First pitch to Douglas, offered up and missed. Still just one away in the top of the fifth inning. And already 4 Henley runners have come across to score. And it's a 1-1 count, or pardon me, an 0-2 count to Ryan Douglas. Douglas this season, another guy, is a sub for Henley. This is his 5th at-bat of the season. He's batting .250. Hits one to shallow center field. Uloa Ford goes back to make the catch. And he tries to get Meyer at second, but back safely. So 2 outs now for the top of the Henley order, Peyton Price to bat. Price today has walked twice, tripled once in the third, knocked in an RBI, and he also flew out in the 4th inning. Bats now with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Price checks his swing, he went around, 0-1 the count to the Henley center fielder. That one is going to miss outside. 1-1 to Price. Again, at second, it's Ian Meyer. At first, it's Thomas Bakke. And Abdul comes set and delivers the pitch. That will find the zone. A nice hard fastball from the Mazama right-hander. Ball and 2 strikes to Peyton Price.
Wind has really picked up this inning. You can probably hear it in our headsets. You may have even seen it shaking our camera a bit.
Swung on and missed. Price goes down swinging, and that will retire the side. But again, Henley scores 4 runs in the inning. They lead 15-2 as they try to close it out in the bottom half of the 5th inning. This is Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Comfortable and not corporate. At Clown Falls Subaru, we built our business on that simple promise. Well, that and some of the best people you're ever going to meet. Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager at Clown Falls Subaru. Our 62 employees make it easy for us to live up to our comfortable, not corporate philosophy. Friendly faces, easy answers, straight talk, fairness, and exceptional service. These are the things you expect. These are the things that all of our people deliver. Our management team, sales pros, certified service and body shop techs, lot attendants, and detail experts are all 100% focused on you. Local people putting their friends and neighbors first. At Clown Falls Subaru, that's the only way we do business. It's comfortable, not corporate. Our team members also spend hundreds of hours each year supporting local charities and events through the Subaru Love Promise. That's the kind of people they are. We're very proud of them. They're your friends, they're your neighbors, they're glad to know you, and they want you to be glad to know them too. I'm Rob, and this is what makes us comfortable, not corporate.
Getting ready for the bottom of the 5th inning. The Henley Hornets will try to close things out. A A couple of defensive substitutions coming in for Henley. We'll just go ahead and reset the whole defense for you. Still catching will be Connor Shively. Mark Carpenter plays third. Aiden Hayes at short. Carson Sims has checked into the game at second. Thomas Baki plays first. Ryan Douglas in left. Peyton Price in center. And Lane Frank in right field. Due up for Mazama and Marcos Ulloa Ford. Devin Lobdell and Deshaun Carter. Marcos lays a bunt down the third base line. Carpenter charging, throws across the diamond. Oh, Marcos beat him on the throw, an infield single. Good play there all around, but it is Marcos Ulloa Ford who wins the foot race. Only the third base hit of the day for the Vikings. And it's what leads off this fifth inning. Devin Lobdell to bat now for Mazama. The pitch from Hamilton is called strike one. For Lobdell today, 0 for 2. He's flown out and reached on an error. Marcos Ulloa Ford taken off for second. Looked to be a hit and run, but the ball whacked foul down the left field line. 0-2 now the count to Devin Lobdell. Deshaun Carter waits on deck for the Vikings. Hamilton set with the 0-2 and delivers. That one taken low, 1-2. Now the count to Devin Lobdell. Henley scored 6 runs in the third and 4 in each the fourth and the fifth innings. Add one more in the second, and they lead 15-2. Strike at the plate. Ulloa Ford doesn't slide into second, but he beats the throw. It was a strikeout at the plate, so Lobdell goes down. And one away with a runner in scoring position now for Deshaun Carter. Kind of dangerous out there, not sliding in by Marcos Ulloa Ford. Not only a safety issue, but you risk running off the bag, and that's almost what happened to Marcos out there. But he is safe, standing in scoring position for Carter, who's 1 for 2 today. Reached on an error in the second and singled in the third. The pitch to Carter will come in and hit him. And he's aboard at first, still one away for Mason Spivey. Spivey today 0 for 2 is grounded out and flown out, although he did knock in a run in the first inning when he grounded out to first. So an RBI for Mason this afternoon. His team trying to rally. They have to score 4 runs this inning to continue the ball game. The pitch, a ground ball towards second. Sims, it's going to eat up Sims at second. On a routine ground ball, and E4 loads the bases. And that will bring up Jacoby Nickerson. Nickerson today 0 for 1. He grounded out in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third. And Corbin Hamilton in his first real bit of trouble in some time. The first pitch is taken low, 1-0. On deck, Carson Bates and Parker Whiteley in the hole for Mazama. At third, it's Ulloa Ford, Deshaun Carter at second. And at first, it's Spivey. Pitch lifted foul down the third base side. It's 1-1 to the Mazama third baseman. Hanging in there, trying not to let this thing end after 5. The pitch to Spivey, taken outside, 2-1. Last time these two teams played, it was a couple of mercy rule victories for Henley, 18-0 and 10-0. This one is lifted on the left side of the infield. Foul territory, Carpenter over to make the catch for the first out. Or pardon me, that is the second out in the inning. The first was Lobdell striking out. So now 2 away and the bases remain loaded for Carson Bates, who has been hit by a pitch and I believe flew out in the third. And a ground ball ricochets off of Hamilton. Sims going to try to play it, and safe at first is Bate. A run scores. Henley still leads 15-3. Want to make sure Hamilton is okay out there. That ball is a line drive, hit him in the back, and he's walking it off. Those ones are scary for the pitcher. Give Bate the RBI as Uloa Ford scored. Deshaun Carter moved to third. Mason Spivey to second. Got to get Bate at first. Parker Whiteley to bat now. He's 0 for 2 today. A couple of infield flyouts for Whiteley. And they're going to let Hamilton get a couple warm-up tosses in, make sure that he's okay. I think he was okay before he was throwing those warm-up pitches, but umpires insist, and probably better to err on the safe side. And the pitch from Hamilton is offered up at and missed by Whiteley. Deshaun Carter playing some games over there. The runner at third sprinted about halfway down the third base line in the middle of the delivery from Hamilton. But he's just got to focus on the guy at the plate. And the 0-1 is taken in the dirt, 1-1. The delivery to Whiteley. It is a ground ball up the middle. Hayes gloves it in the gap, tosses onto first in time. A great defensive play to end the ball game. Henley claiming victory 15-3. We'll wrap this one up for you on the other side. This is Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Henley Hornets picking up their 16th consecutive victory today with a 15-3 win over the Mazama Vikings. 15 runs on 10 hits, 5 errors for Henley, 8 runners left on base. For Mazama, 3 runs on 4 hits, 6 errors. They left 8 runners on base today. Winning pitcher Corbin Hamilton going the distance. All 5 innings, he gave up 3 runs, none of them earned. 4 hits against him, and he struck out 5. Losing pitcher today will be Marcos Uloa Ford. He worked 2 2/3 innings, gave up 7 runs, none of them earned against him. 7 came across, 5 hits, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts for Marcos. Those are the only real notable pitchers for the ball game. Had a couple notable hitters for Henley today. A 1-for-3 afternoon for Peyton Price, but he added 2 RBI on his bases clearing triple back in the 3rd inning. Also a couple of RBIs on a 2-for-3 day from Lane Frank. We'll be right back here on Thursday as the Hornets close out the season series with the Vikings, looking for the season sweep. So far, again, 3 wins, 10-0, 18-0, and here 15-3. We'll be back Thursday at 5. Matt, any final thoughts before we hop off the air this afternoon?
Well, yeah, like we said at the start of the game, it's my first time seeing Henley baseball this season, and I walk away from this pretty impressed. They certainly look like a #1 team in the state. You know, even though they started a little slow, they really turned it on and proved very difficult to stop once they had gotten going. And I think that's a trait that you see with a lot of top teams.
Win number 21 on the season for Henley. That's the most in the state of Oregon. Again, we'll be back on Thursday. Final score once again for you. Henley beating the Vikings 15-3. Want to thank everybody who got together for the broadcast today, both head coaches, Mike Edwards for the Mazama Vikings, Joe Tacchini and Sean Teeters, co-head coaches of the Henley Hornets. For Matt Bowling, I'm Josh Eldridge saying good night from Mazama High School.